What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. So the stock market has been crazy lately. Up one day, down the next, volatility all across the board. We have stimulus, an election coming up. We have President Trump getting the you-know-what. And we also have earnings season starting to kick off this week. So a lot of moving parts here heading into the election, which is going to cause a pretty interesting stock market, to say the least, guys. And we're going to be talking more about it in this video, breaking down some technicals, and more importantly, talking about the top 7 stocks that I'm looking to buy amidst all of this craziness right now. So if you guys find value, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I have a mission here to get to 25,000 subscribers, so let's make it happen together. Subscribe to the channel, and also check out the free links down below, the Discord chat, the Facebook group, and if you guys want 2 free stocks from Webull, that ends here on the 15th of October, so go take advantage of that. Link down below, deposit $100, and that is how you get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600. So let's get into it, guys. And every Sunday here on the channel, I like to break down the plan for the upcoming week, starting off with what happened last week. So let's do that very quickly here, briefly taking a look here at the S&P 500. So we can see the past week, and honestly, even before this past week, the markets have been doing very well. S&P hit 3209, 3210, might as well round up there. We double bottomed, we actually triple bottomed right around the low 3200s, and ever since then, guys, we've hit this reverse head and shoulder perfectly. We called it out. We've been breaking out of resistance after resistance here. 3330 broke, 3430 broke last week, and before that, 3380 broke. So resistance after resistance has broken. Again, we called this reverse head and shoulder out, the left shoulder head here, and now the right shoulder is completing, especially with the breakout last week. So the markets have been doing very well. And one thing that I did point out last week on Friday, and I'm going to say it again here, the markets might be a bit overextended right now, so be careful. Maybe we see some sort of pull down. You guys can see the RSI here, the relative strength index, is over 70, meaning that we are close to that overbought status. So if we were to pull down on the S&P, take a look here. This is what I think could happen. From 3470, we might pull down to, let's say, 3430. If 3430 ends up holding as a support, which I think it should, that is where we might see another leg up on the S&P, maybe close to those all-time highs, back at about 3490, which is where we were in the beginning of September. So what's fueling the market right now? It's stimulus, guys. At the end of the day, stimulus is moving this market. So at this point, the latest news we have, at least at this point that I'm filming this video, the White House might increase its offer for a new round of CV stimulus beyond the $1.8 trillion. I believe they proposed that on Friday, and could even propose a package bigger than the House of Democrats' $2.2 trillion offer, Larry Kudlow said on Sunday. And I'd be surprised if that happened. That'd be unbelievable. That would be a big win, I think, for the Democrats, right? If they were able to somehow get the Republicans up over $2 trillion. We'll see what happens there. And Secretary Mnuchin said is up to $1.8 trillion, like we just said, referring to the bill. And President Trump actually has always said, I've heard him say this as far as the elements are concerned, the checks, the unemployment assistance, the small business assistance is what we have to help people out, and we've got to help the airlines out as well as we're moving forward. He always has said that. That's what Mnuchin said here on Sunday. And during a conference call on Saturday morning with the White House, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin said several Senate Republicans said they were opposed to passing another large aid package, according to people familiar with the call. So at this point, guys, there's a lot of back and forth. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, we're hearing a bunch of different things here. Are they going to go to 2.2 trillion? Are they going to stay at 1.8 trillion and not budge? I'm talking about the Republicans here. And we don't know yet. We don't know yet. And until we have solid confirmation that we're actually going to get a stimulus package. It's official. The markets are going to remain volatile, right? And on top of that, Trump's sickness, you guys know what I'm talking about here. White House physician Dr. Sean Conley said in a statement late Saturday that the president now meets criteria laid out by the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, and Prevention for, quote-unquote, the safe discontinuation of isolation, and is no longer considered a transmission risk to others. This is what he said. And Trump actually held a rally at the White House on Saturday, his first public event since being hospitalized with you-know-what. The former head of the FDA, Dr. Scott Gottlieb, said Sunday that, quote-unquote, on the whole, it is probably a safe assumption that the president is no longer contagious, even if he continues to have symptoms and is likely now shedding dead virus cells, meaning he won't test negative for COVID, for CV. I almost slipped there, guys. I don't even know if we get demonetized anymore. I'm just being safe. But yeah, so that's interesting, right? We're seeing what's going on with him. He's getting better. That's what they're saying. But at the end of the day, we don't know exactly what's going on. Again, they're a bit elusive, mysterious with what he's doing, with how he's going. And but obviously, I'm hoping that he does well. Obviously, I don't wish ill will on anybody, right? I hope he gets better and everybody else that has it gets better. So that's kind of the rundown as of right now. Stimulus back and forth, it's probably going to remain that way. A lot of people are saying that they're not expecting a package before the election, so we'll see. And again, watch out for this pull down on the S&P down to about 3430. That could be a safe spot in my personal opinion. And speaking about the futures market, and like I say every Sunday, guys, watch out for the futures market to see where we could be going for the next day. The markets for the futures, they're not looking too crazy. I mean, S&P futures are down about 2 points, down 0.06%. Nothing crazy there. NASDAQ futures are actually up about 14 points, up 0.1%. And the Dow futures are down about 20 points, which for the Dow Jones, guys, that's really nothing, down about 0.07%. So I'm going to be monitoring the futures heading into tomorrow. If we see a slight dip in the futures, large caps are looking red, let's say tomorrow morning, that could signal that we might be going down to that 3430 level that I stated earlier in this video on the S&P 500. So those are a couple of key news facts here, what's going on and so forth. Let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts? As always, I would love to know. Now let's get into some stocks, and you could probably guess some of the top stocks that I'm watching for this week. One of them, guys, is my largest swing position right now, and I'm up on this position. It's Apple, AAPL. We have a big event coming up here on Tuesday. It's the Apple event. We're going to see what the iPhone 12 looks like, and interesting things we're seeing here. Invitations for an October 13th event featured the phrase, quote-unquote, high as HI speed. And this is kind of referencing 5G, hinting at a long-term rumored upgrade that would allow the iPhone to connect to 5G wireless that's currently being rolled out by carriers in the U.S. So I'm very excited about this new iPhone, guys, and more specs about it to see what it actually can do and what it looks like. So we're going to see that here on Tuesday. A lot of interesting things there. And the company has also previously used its pre-holiday launch event to roll out upgrades to its iPads, smartwatches, and increasingly popular services such as Apple TV Plus. Though it did much of that last month in the event last month. But we're also seeing a rumor here that we're going to see new augmented reality glasses, a new HomePod smart speaker, and an over-the-ear wireless headphone set from Apple, which I'm not going to lie, if those come out and they look pretty sick at a nice deal, I might be buying those. And I'm an Apple guy, no doubt about it. I have a Mac, I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, although it's the iPhone 8, and I'm waiting for this 5G to upgrade. But, although it's an iPhone 8, I have all Apple products, and I'm interested here in maybe even getting the headsets, the headphones, as I'm in need for those pair of those, to be honest. But they could be expensive. You guys know Apple; it's a bit pricey. So if they're a bit absurd, if they're over, let's say $300-400, which they probably will be, I don't know if I'll get them. But again, we'll see. And speaking of the stocks technicals here, guys, Apple has been crushing it, no doubt about it. Ever since we hit 103, we kind of double bottomed there, broke out, and we broke out of 113. Last week, we broke out of 116.50, which was huge. And take a look at what happened towards the end of the market on Friday in anticipation of this event coming up. The stock went bananas. It hit 116, broke 116.50, rallied up to about 117. It closed at 116.97, and then after hours, it went all the way up to $118 per share. So a lot of people are bidding up the stock heading into the weekend, and we'll see what it's looking like pre-market tomorrow. Me personally, guys, and you guys should not take this as a buy recommendation by any means. Do your own due diligence as always, but me personally, I would not be surprised if Apple was over 120 at some point next week. That's just me being honest. I think if 118.19 breaks, that is where we're going to see a huge pop in Apple, especially if investors and traders get extremely excited about what's going to happen and come from this event on Tuesday. So Apple is definitely the most important stock to watch this upcoming week, not only because if you're an Apple shareholder or if you're trading it, but you guys have to realize Apple's a massive company and it affects the whole stock market. So if we see a big pop in Apple, it's going to drag up the markets as a whole and probably influence a lot of tech stocks that you own other than Apple, which could then fluctuate the markets and push them up as well. So Apple could cause a chain reaction here in the market. So we have to see what happens with this stock. And me personally, guys, if you guys watch the weekly updates, you know this. I'm in Apple pretty heavily at about $115. So I have my shares, my position is built out, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So the second stock, you guys can probably guess this one as well, is Workhorse Group. And let me tell you, I'm extremely excited about this one this upcoming week. We had a 12% green day on Friday after Fuzzy Panda tried to knock down those shares to buy in at a lower price as they're a short-selling company, whatever you want to call them. They're short-selling the stock. They wrote a piece on the stock that ended up being a big negative on the company. The stock went down a bit, and again, you guys can see a lot of short sellers out there. They play some devious games. They try to manipulate the stock, maybe because they're shorting it, obviously, but they could also maybe be buying shares as they're talking crap on the stock. Who knows? I'm speculating here, but we saw Fuzzy Panda come out, do what they did. The stock said, screw you, Fuzzy Panda. It went up 13% on Friday, and after hours, guys, it's up another 5%. Up another 5% here on Friday after hours, which is unbelievable. It ended up hitting $28.18. And this is in anticipation of a potential announcement of the USPS contract here on the 13th of this month, which, guys, that's the same day as Apple. So Tuesday is going to be huge. Apple, the event's happening. We might not see an announcement on the 13th for Workhorse and the USPS contract. That's a bit more of an if, but we'll see. And the USPS decision, it's due on October 13th, but we've seen it pushed back before due to the whole crisis that we're in. But let's say it's on the 13th. The post office is expected to decide on the $8.1 billion next generation, what's NGDV? It's next generation delivery vehicle production contract. They're supposed to announce it. The due date for responses had previously been pushed back in light of the circumstances with CV here. And the NGDV vehicles are an important part of our continuing process of innovation and for the point of investing in our future. 2 core strategies for the organization that came from the USPS. And you guys know Workhorse is actually one of the 3 remaining applicants for the contract, other ones being Oshkosh and Turkey-based Carson Automotive. While Mahindra had been in competition, it said that it does not expect an award. So guys, I mean, we see that they want to go zero emissions. Workhorse is the only one that's going to be doing that. So a lot of people are speculating that they're going to get all, if not, maybe not all of it, but a good chunk of this contract. Even Roth Capital came out, which ended up moving up the stock, no doubt about it, on Friday. Roth Capital analyst Craig Irwin said on Friday that he sees a positive outcome for Workhorse for the $8.1 billion USPS contract, as he thinks an EV is the best fit for the USPS application. Irwin noted that Workhorse is the only supplier proposing an EV solution. So guys, watch out for Workhorse. And yeah, maybe it's a bit overbought here. You could argue that it's overbought, but you could also argue that if they get the contract, it doesn't even matter if it's overbought, right? A lot of people are speculating the stock can go from $28 where it is right now up to, let's say, the 50s, the 60s. Some upwards targets I've seen, as crazy as it sounds, some people have been saying $90 to $100 depending on the contract and kind of how it pans out after that. So Workhorse, guys, again, do your own due diligence. It's a high-risk stock. There's a lot of speculation, but there's a lot of upside. And you guys have to realize with stocks that have a lot of risk, there's often a lot of upside, right? Why would you want to take a lot of risk if there's not a lot of reward on the other end? And that's kind of how I'm viewing Workhorse at this point in time. And another stock, another company that can benefit from this from kind of an indirect perspective is DPHC, also known as Lordstown Motors. Workhorse has 10% of that company, and they could indirectly be affected by this contract. DPHC here, it's looking to break out of this wedge. We talked about this last week. I think there's a big gap to be filled, maybe from $25 up to about $30. That's kind of where I'm looking at here for DPHC, which again is looking to take Lordstown Motors public, which is an awesome EV company that's coming up here that makes an awesome truck known as the Endurance, right? We've talked about that before here on the channel. So watch out for Workhorse, watch out for DPHC. Those, in my opinion, are a must-watch for this week. And another one here is Run, also known as Sunrun, which took a bit of a beating as their merger went through with, I forget the name. You guys can comment down below if you guys know what I'm talking about. But their merger went through with this company. The stock went down from $82 to $71. And quite honestly, I'm not looking to buy it quite yet, but I'm putting it on my watch list and in this video because if it were to dump down further, which is possible, let's say down to the low 60s, mid 60s, this is definitely one that I'd add, especially if we got close to that 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart and we're able to hold it as a new support. I mean, that could be a huge potential for gain. I mean, if we got in at $60, $65, back up to those highs at about $82, $80, that gives the stock about 20-25% upside from that point. So watch out for Run here. Another one is going to be Tesla, guys. TSLA. And when do we go a couple of videos without talking about Tesla? We don't. We talk about Tesla all the time here on the channel. And Tesla's an interesting one here, guys. It's been showing some signs of upwards momentum recently. The past 2-3 days have been green. We're getting closer and closer to the resistance of this wedge here. You guys can see it. Now I just want to see if we break out. And I think Tesla is due for a massive move here. Let me not exaggerate. Maybe not a massive move, but I can definitely see Tesla see a nice pop to the mid 400s, 460, maybe 470 at its highest on some hype heading into earnings. I think that's possible. And earnings here are coming up on the 21st of this month, so watch out for the pop on Tesla. That could be a nice momentum play there. And eBay is another one that I'm very interested in for this week. We can see last week eBay broke out of $54, $54.50. That's a big resistance. We broke out of this downwards wedge. Now, yeah, we're a bit overbought, so I'd like to see some stabilization at about 54 to about 54.50. If we get that, that could be an entry point, and I think ultimately eBay is headed back up to $60, $58 to $60. So there is some upside here with eBay, and they're also reporting earnings later on in October on the 28th of the month. And another one here is going to be Advanced Micro Devices. This one ended up getting rejected at about $88. If I extend this to the right, you'll see it, but we're still holding about $83. Big support here on top of an old resistance stemming back from the middle of September, and we're also holding the 180 SMA on a 4-hour chart here at a potential higher low. So I'm thinking AMD could be range bound between $83 and $88. That's a 5-point window, giving it about, let's take a look here, guys, 5% potential for profit. So watch out for AMD. I'm liking it. And you notice, guys, a bunch of these stocks, some of them are running on momentum, but others are kind of beaten down a little bit. I mean, AMD, I wouldn't really classify it as beaten down, but I think eBay, on the other hand, I'd classify it as beaten down. I mean, it's gone from 61 to about 47. It's gotten beaten down ever since the beginning of July, and now it's finally taking off. I mean, these are the types of stocks that I like to look at, as well as the ones that are moving with momentum, such as Workhorse. You could put Tesla maybe in that category as well. And we have a bunch of earnings reports coming up as well this week, starting off with the big banks. We have JP Morgan, which I've told you guys, watch out for JP Morgan. If we break 105, this could be a runner. I'm not sure how far it could run, but a big resistance after 105 is 115. So one could say, hey, maybe from 105 to 115, that's possible. That's around a 9-10% move there. So watch out for JP Morgan. They're reporting earnings here on the 13th. Another one to watch out for is Wells Fargo. I mean, Wells Fargo, by no means, in my opinion, is a company to buy right now as an investment. But hey, if they do some good numbers with earnings, they could be a short-term trade. Who knows? We have to see how the price action is looking. And they're reporting earnings on the 14th of this month. And we also have Goldman Sachs, another bank. They're reporting, let's take a look here, on the 14th of this month as well. Big resistance coming up at 210. Maybe if 210 breaks, we could make a move to 220, as we've done plenty of times over the past couple of months. And another major company here that I love, I own this one, is Johnson & Johnson. They're reporting earnings, I believe, on the 13th. Yup, the 13th of this month. Wow, Tuesday's going to be a big day, guys. Apple, Workhorse potentially getting the contract. Banks are coming up, earnings. It's going to be a fun week and a fun next couple of weeks, quite honestly. So watch J&J here. If 150 is able to break, we could make a move. I'm thinking mid-150s, 155, 157, right around there. So those are the main stocks, guys. I know I kind of went quick in this video. At least it seems like I went quick, but those are the main ones. We talked about Apple, we talked about Workhorse, DPHC, Run, Tesla, eBay, AMD, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, and J&J, and a bunch of other ones. I mean, we could talk all day, but I'm also watching some honorable mentions here. I'm watching NEO stock, NIO, that's one that I'm watching here. Microsoft's another one that I'm watching if 215 breaks, which it seems like it is. Virgin Galactic, I'm also watching this, although we are seeing a bit of a bearish divergence here. We have to be careful about that, but I ultimately think we could get to $25 per share. So these are a couple that I'm watching. Thoughts on, the markets in general. We talked about stimulus, what's going on with the president here as well. So I hope you guys found some value in it, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. Again, we're trying to get to 25,000 subscribers. And check out all the free links down below. The Discord chat, the Facebook group. Your 2 free stocks are literally waiting for you down below in the description box as well. And feel free to follow me on Instagram at StockSurfS if you guys want updates every day. And also on Twitter at StockSurfS as well. And those are linked down below in the description for you guys. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching as always. Be safe out there. Crush this week. And yeah, let's kick some booty, guys. Let's get it.